Michigan came into Georgia. Do you know what they did? They dropped an L. Griff, they dropped an L. And not only did they drop an L, but they didn't come to play. This still a good season. Still an all right season. They lost 34-11.
Right, nope.
Best season.
Best.
No. I know. Best season since
There's
1997.
gonna be a lot of flags on the play because you're gonna. You know what you're gonna do, Brad? I know this is gonna happen throughout this segment. Is there's gonna be a lot of little jabs thrown in there. There's gonna be a lot of these little. Oh, it was an all right season.
It was an all right season.
How would you define MSU season this year?
Okay, Michigan State was.
I understand there's different expectations. But what I'm saying is, was it just all right when MSU went to the playoff and got their doors blown off?
No, it was a great season. But here's the thing.
So you go ahead.
Are you satisfied with this? Like, are you? As a Michigan fan, you should not be satisfied, right? And I know that Michigan State, right? Like went to the playoff in 2015, and they won the Big Ten. They beat Ohio State. They did all the things that Jim Harbaugh wanted to do. It took him 7 years to do, etc. And I know I'm not trying to compare D'Antonio to Harbaugh. I'm not trying to compare. So. Unnecessary roughness.
I don't throw in a jab about how D'Antonio tanked the program because he was
okay, but I know that he did too. Like, I am well aware of that, and I hate him for it.
I'm well aware that Jim Harbaugh has been terrible up until finally, getting it done this year.
Well, right, and but I want to explain, and I want to explain real quick about how my expectations for Jim Harbaugh could not be lower moving forward. And I don't know if he'll end up taking.
Your expectations have gotten lower after this year?
Absolutely. And I'll explain why. But here's the thing, and because I don't know if it's honestly more likely that he runs away somewhere else than actually comes back to the college football playoff. In my eyes, that's how I see it. And I know that it's shocking to some, and it's again, he finally did it, whatever. But it's year 7, right? And coaches, and this is very and I gotta hand it to Harbaugh. He bet on himself and he did it. He did it. He came out with a pay cut, didn't come out screaming and hollering, whatever, but comes out and is he came out to play. He came out and won the Big Ten, did all these things that we said he wasn't going to do, right? And it didn't look good, against Michigan State. But it's almost, but when he got to the college football playoff, and as Michigan looked like they looked overmatched, and again, it was sort of a reality check, and we know how that goes. And because no Big Ten team has been able to have success in the college football playoff outside of Ohio State, right? Right. You step outside the confines of Columbus, and you get what Michigan State did, throwing a donut up to Alabama, and you get what Michigan did, and they laid an egg against Georgia.
And I'll say this, even Ohio State, they won the 1 year, but
right?
They got shut out by Clemson.
That too. That happened too.
2016,
something like that. Yeah, exactly.
And they got their last year, in the COVID CFP. I believe it was 2020 CFP. Let me just double check. Yeah, right. It was Devonta Smith just blew the doors off. They won 52-24 against Ohio State. That game wasn't even that close.
Right.
Okay, they I think it would have been, I don't know.
Well, and it speaks more to the average margin of victory in the semifinal, though, being 20 points, something like that. And that's insane. And I don't know, and I don't want to get into the ways to fix the college football playoff. That's not what I'm here to do. Today, but is this not the pinnacle of what Jim Harbaugh can do? You know what I mean? If it's here, Like, goals should be more.
So, all right, because we said a lot of things here, so I'm going to kind of go through and say everything that you. My expectations now for Jim Harbaugh is you have to be better, right? You got over the first mountain, but the second mountain's an even taller climb, and you need to get up it, and you need to do it quickly. And it starts with you need to be back in Indy next year. Like, you need to be back in Indy next year. And that's going to be hard because Ohio State's going to be better. You're going to have a CJ Stroud with another year under his belt. Michigan State's going to be better. You have Mel Tucker with another year of recruiting under his belt. You're going to be without two of Michigan's best defensive players in the last 2 decades.
Like, well, and I also can't imagine that Penn State is as bad next year as they were this year.
They still got James Franklin.
Yes, but James Franklin does. I mean, again, I'm not a fan of James Franklin, but he does have like the track record and the balls at Penn State to.
So for that reason, alone, you can.
That's true. That's true. But I'm just saying that like Penn State has had more good years than they've had bad years, and like
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was only a few years ago that Penn State had a winning record and they were in a New Year's Six bowl, and stuff like that. So you know what I mean? But the Big Ten wasn't that good this year. You saw Michigan State benefit. You saw Michigan benefit. And I mean, again, like Ohio State, if the Big Ten was better, Ohio State might have another Big Ten loss because again, like they weren't as great and they were playing cupcake teams, from their loss against Oregon up until they played Michigan.
They were in a close game against Penn State. I think it was within a touchdown most of the game. So
right.
No, and I agree. So that's the thing. Next year is going to be even harder.
Right.
So my thing with Jim Harbaugh is it's always been, show don't tell, prove it, put your money where your mouth is. If he comes out next year and wins the Big Ten again, beats Ohio State again, preferably beats Michigan State. Can we do that, please? Can we stop losing to Michigan State? Not that like I know it just was like we had that game and he coached himself out of a win. That was an
undefeated season right there.
Yeah. Going into that's the difference between us being the 1 seed, honestly.
Right.